Hey everybody, how you doing? Hope everybody is doing well. I'm not at the NFL annual meeting. To be absolutely candid and critical of myself, as many of you know who are regular viewers of my channel, um, I am not in. I still live in Oakland, but I'm not in Oakland. I am actually in Fayette County, Georgia, to keep my mom company by my choice, and um, haven't quite squared the circle of how to be someplace else and make sure that she has a level of tension that I'm comfortable with as the only child. Not married or with kids, so I don't have anyone to help, right? And that's just the way that it is. And I'm saying that because that really is the way it is. And so I have to make careful decisions about what I'm going to do and be and why, um, just as you would do with respect to your kids. You know, if you have kids or anybody else that you're responsible for, I think more importantly, feel you're responsible for. So with that, after a lot of hemming and hawing on it, and to be clear, my mother always pushing me out the door, saying, "Go, go, 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 go. Don't make me your excuse," and all that. But the bottom line is, when you get to this stage of life, it's not about making the parents your excuse, whether you like it or not. You have an obligation to look out for and help your parents, um, even if at the end of the day, for whatever reason, you wind up not doing it. So with that, let's take what I've decided to do is I'm here. This is what the scene looks like in that little video there. If I can zoom in, um, at the NFL annual meeting in Palm Beach in the ballroom. This was as of roughly 30 minutes ago. They started at 8 o'clock in the morning. And what I find interesting about this, having attended past NFL annual meetings, is first of all, I'll say one thing. If I were there, you would not be seeing this on Twitter because this is owned by Jack Dorsey and other people. Okay. And this is why media is dying. And, this person who posted it um, is a sports reporter for CBS. And yet we're looking at a site that's not owned by CBS. So if you want to understand why media, traditional media is dying, you're seeing it right before you because they're quite literally giving their traffic, which is monetizable, and time to Twitter. You're helping Twitter survive. Meanwhile, revenue across the board for media is going down. That's why I started my own media company. So anyway, you're seeing this, okay? Let me enlarge this so you can get a better view of what's going on because it really is vastly different than how NFL annual meetings have been done with respect to coaches in the past. Okay. Um, in the past, like for example, the meetings that I've covered where Coach Gruden was there, um, instead of having these different podiums, okay, you would have different breakfast tables, and each person had their table. But by contrast, what you see here, around, let me see if I can, yeah, as we pan around, what you see here is that, okay, I believe that's Frank Reich of the Colts, and the people are standing. There's no opportunity there to actually go and bring your breakfast over and actually eat with the coach, um, and have a conversation that really is intimate. You know, this is more puts distance between you as the media person and the coach. And but that's for sound reasons having to do with the coronavirus. Notice no one's wearing a mask, but everyone is vaccinated. Okay, um, this is a successful turnout for the NFL, and but it's also clear that in order to do this, there was a lot of thinking going on about how to do this in a way that's safer than in a pre-pandemic environment. See that guy over there? That's actually the fellow with the glasses on the far right. That's Jason La Canfora of CBS. See who else I recognize. They recognize the guy in front of him. And so, and they're all, listening in, and they have questions. This is a podium setup that's very much like what they would do at the NFL Combine, but it's supposed to be the coach's breakfast. So, again, in years past, like the last time that I attended, which is 2019, 2020, we didn't have it. But in 2019, when I attended, and 2018, what we had was we had the people sitting at the table. All right. The people sitting at the table. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually going around, and you can watch also on NFL Network, I believe. They have different coaches um, talking on the NFL Network, as I understand it. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to find out what the latest is going on here. This is, of course, that's my tweet, which I just retweeted. All right. And so latest, I'm looking at photos, videos. That was posted 14 hours ago by Brian McCarthy. The last video that I just showed you should come up in this feed. It's not. This is due to the inefficiency of Twitter code. If I go over to top, that's what McCarthy put out. It says, Brian says, NFL coaches available beginning at NFL meeting. Coach Bell stopped by to say hi to Coach McDaniel. That was 47 minutes ago. Okay. So, again, you can see the setup there where there's not a standard table. Okay. Again, there's not a breakfast table. There is a podium. And so this is it's different. There's a podium. I miss the breakfast table format because, again, it's a lot more intimate. You could park yourself at one coach's table and get a great video live stream. You could get a live stream, but you're at a distance. It's different. It's quite different. So let's do a little refresh here and see what other information comes in. We saw that one 48 minutes ago. It says Eagles, the Eagles ready to hit ground running, as Chris Franklin reports. But I have to say that the NFC coaches do not appear. It's a beautiful place, by the way. That's the Breakers. They don't appear until tomorrow morning. So if you're looking for information from any of the NFC teams, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Saints, that's tomorrow morning. The NFL reception is tonight. All right. Oh, thank you. So, okay. So anyway, just getting my tea here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So anyway, that's tomorrow. And again, this reception is tonight at 7:30, I believe it is. And yes, I was credentialed by the league, which has been very nice to work with me on everything. And so let's continue and see what else we've got here. Nate Taylor reports, he says, Andy Reid here at the coach's breakfast for the NFL annual meetings. I love Tyreek. There was no riff. We tried to sign at a certain cost. I have to note, though, he says at the coach's breakfast, again, there's no breakfast. There's no breakfast this time. As you saw before, it's just the podium. Here's, for example, this is Coach Hackett, okay? You can see that. Thank you. This is Coach Hackett, all right? Let's see what Coach Hackett has to say.
Different intricacies of the NFL, I think it's been really cool. And then this is pretty fascinating too. Somebody told me it was a breakfast at first, so I was excited for some eggs and pancakes, and now it's a lot of microphones and a lot of loudness. But no, it's been great. It's been fun.
Think about that, folks. That's quite different than years past because, again, in 2019, it was a breakfast, and it was a sit-down breakfast. And so I've got to believe that for budget reasons, the NFL has made that call. And there's now there's a part of me that's like, oh man, I was thinking, oh man, one of the things I was thinking about not being there is, oh man, I'm missing this great breakfast spread, right? And I'm not. Okay. I think they're going to probably I would hope feed the media in some other kind of way, but this is different. Anyway, let's finish with Hackett. What are you saying?
He's a guy who's been playing at Philly for a while, and he's done a lot of. I love his hair. Flowing locks are very good, but he's a guy that's going to go to the echo, the whistle. He's going to run all over the place. He had a really good year this past year. I'm very excited for him to join us.
So you can't hear also the questions. That's the other thing.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think that with any running back, you always want to have more than as many as you can. You want a big stable. You want to have a guy that you can feed and make sure he gets a lot, but he's still a young player and he's still learning. And you want to be sure that you got split it as much as you can. I think last year we had actually a lot of the places that I've been, there's always been kind of two guys because you always want to try to split the load as much as you can. But at the same time, he's a great player, so we're going to have to continually get it. But we'll just have to see how the whole thing goes. Well, it's going to be a new system to start off with them. It's going to be the outside zone. The protection schemes are all going to be a little bit different. I think Quinn, the sky's the limit for him right now. He's a guy who didn't play the whole season, kind of jumped in there towards the end and really like what he does. Also loved his it's getting crazy over there. But I still remember when he was coming out and he had the videos in the forest working out. And so I know he's working out hard right now. So I think that he's going to be a really good right guard for us. Oh yeah. He's a big guy. He can run off the ball, very strong, very excited for him. What was that? Sorry.
No, I can't hear all the questions. Well, let's jump around. We know that's there. That's a 38-minute video. So let's jump around and see what else is there. And that's Mike McCarthy doesn't speak until tomorrow. This is Bright-Eyed and Early with Bill Belichick. It's another photograph, not a video. And let's see here. Stay on NFL Network all morning long to hear from NFL head coaches at the NFL annual meeting. There. Broncos DM Patton just told a group of us at the NFL annual meeting the Broncos will begin their offseason workout program Monday, April 11th. NFL football operations talks about the competition committee's proposal being in. This is old date news. This is a video I think you saw early on that I pointed to regarding how things have changed, how this is more like the NFL Combine. Says Mike McCarthy will not be attending the NFL annual meeting in Palm Springs. He said it is uncommon for a head coach not to attend. Instead, he is continuing his focus on the Cowboys pre-draft scouting process, which includes extensive travel and pro days this week. Yeah, Mike Tomlin took note that he was upset that he was missing pro day. So, the Cowboys will not be there tomorrow in the form of Mike McCarthy. And Matt Maiocco is reporting that he says that he's there, of course. Mike Rees, great guy, says that he's in the Palm Beach. He's generally a Patriots person. He says the meeting's just getting started. That was 18 hours ago. That's a nice setting, isn't it? Yesterday. Talking about the fact that overtime rules will be voted on. This is the sunset this morning. And so this is Troy Vincent Sr. He's the executive vice president for football operations of the National Football League. Okay. So it's not an efficient reporting process. You kind of wish that the league would do more. And when the latest tweet under NFL annual meetings from me, okay, that's me, then we've got a problem. Okay. We might be able to get some buzz on Instagram. But let me go back to Coach Hackett uh, and his presentation, which was roughly 38 minutes ago, but there's a full video up of it. All right. And it's here. As I scroll down, there it is. There's Coach Hackett. And I'll turn up the volume. And
I'm able to go through some of the meetings, find out some of the everybody.
I jumped ahead because what he had said before was basically he was remarking that he had expected breakfast, right? Because again, as I said in the past, we had a sit-down breakfast at tables. This is a podium. So he expected breakfast, as I did. Looking at it, I was thinking, oh boy, I want to see what they're eating this time. But because of COVID, they've completely changed the format. So not the normal way.
Slowly but surely, we're kind of letting that get to him. It's one of those things we're going to spend a lot of time together. And once he gets here in April, and so that's when we'll kind of start building the whole thing. We're kind of trying to get that to him as much as possible. But it's better being taught from me. So it's kind of like as much as we can kind of converse together. This is. Can you guys even hear me? Oh, okay. But are the other ones? I feel like my voice should try to be louder. Should I try to beat everybody? Yeah, we could play some. Yeah, anybody want to compete? You know.
Oh, by the way, for those of you wondering, I have to emphasize, because of this format, the Raiders used to live stream their annual meeting, video. There's no live stream on their YouTube channel. I checked and I keep periodically checking. There's no live stream of what Coach McDaniel is saying. There's not even a still upload of anything Coach McDaniel has said. So I'm going to give you some more of this, okay? But, we'll be don't have no fear.
Good. I haven't thought about it much. I'm telling you, well, it's one of those things I want it to come naturally. I don't want it to I don't want to over plan it. Yeah, it's just one of those things I want to get up there and let the guys learn who I am.
So you can't hear the interaction.
Yeah, I think it's so important to make sure he's comfortable in everything that he does. I mean, from the cadence to the way that you just call a play, I think is so important because, again, when you go out there and all 80,000 people are screaming at you, you want it to be natural. You want to be able to check at the line. You want to change your audibles. You want to switch from play to play. You want to do so many different things. And if he's thinking about that, he's not going to be playing fast. So for me, it's, we do so much of the same stuff. It's just about getting that language to be able to cross over. So the more that we can talk with each other, and once we all get together in April, we'll just kind of solidify all those things and make sure they're all on the same page.
Okay, so that's Coach Hackett. I'm going to go through and see if we can. I'm going to type the names of the coaches in, like Josh McDaniels, and there we go, and see what we can get. Vinny says he's getting ready to talk to him, but that's a photograph. Okay, let's see if there's any video of Vinny Bonsignore. Here we go. This is Vic Tafur, who just posted this. This is a minute. This is a minute.
Dave talks to all the.
Try this again. This is on the origin of Devontae Adams trade.
Comfortable about the decision that we made. And,
let's go back here.
Dave talks to all the teams, and I think you just kind of want to make sure you have a relationship with everybody, and kind of, if there's anything like that that's out there, you just try to see if there's opportunities to improve your team. I don't know exactly the day or anything like that, but when it became apparent that they were going to think about doing something like that, then you have to start doing your work and, really, diving into the process of researching, the player's fit, in anything that you can to try to figure out if it's something that would make your team better. And then that's a different process, which involves a lot of different layers and research, phone calls, tape evaluation, contacts, and hopefully when you're making a decision that's, of that magnitude, that you cross all the T's and dot all the I's. And with Davante, we just felt like this is the kind of a player that you would consider doing this for. And he's certainly been a great football player. And after having the opportunity to meet him, and spend some time with him the other day, everything that we had heard, everything that we were told, all the different recommendations and all the different things that we heard about him as a person, those were true too. And so feel really comfortable about the decision that we made and really good about, the player and the person that we've added to our team.
Okay, so that's one from Victor 4. Let's see what else is there regarding Coach McDaniel of the Raiders. There is this is Paul Gutierrez talking about, this is a 41-second one talking about Derek Carr. Let's see what he had to say. Let's stop this here, and then make sure that it's properly centered. Then it is, and let's see what he has to say here.
Obviously, what we're looking for, what we want to try to build around. I mean, our relationship continues to grow personally. We won't be able to do anything on the field here for a little bit, but that'll be a process. And I think ultimately, you try to do what's best for the team, and I think both sides got to do what's best for and when we get into those conversations with Derek, Derek's going to have to make decisions about what's best for him. That's what each man's right is, and they should do that for their families. And at the same time, we got to try to do what's right for the team. And there'll be a sweet spot in there, hopefully, for everybody, and we'll be excited to go forward like that. Players, obviously, what we're looking for, what we want to try to build around. I mean, our relationship continues to grow personally. We won't be able to do anything on the field here for a little bit, but that'll be a process. And I think ultimately, you try to do what's best for the team, and I think both sides got to do what's best for and when we get into those conversations with Derek, Derek's going to have to make decisions about what's best for him. That's what each man's right is, and they should do that for their families. And at the same time, we got to try to do what's right for the team. And there'll be a sweet spot in there, hopefully, for everybody, and we'll be excited to go forward like that. Players, obviously.
That's cryptic because look, Paul says, look at this title. New Raiders head coach Josh McDaniel talks about quarterback Derek Carr. But he was talking about Carr in the context. This is scary, folks. That title leads one thing, but listen again to what he is saying, because it implies that, hey, Derek Carr may be traded someplace else, that they're going to do what's best for the team. What does that mean? That has nothing to do with how they've advanced in their relationship. Listen to this. Okay, listen to
players. Obviously, what we're looking for, what we want to try to build around. I mean, our relationship continues to grow personally. We won't be able to do anything on the field here for a little bit, but that'll be a process. And I think ultimately, you try to do what's best for the team, and I think both sides got to do what's best for and when we get into those conversations with Derek, Derek's going to have to make decisions about what's best for him. That's what each man's right is.
Now, what does he mean? He says Derek has to do or make decisions about what's best for the team. What does he mean by that, right? That's completely different than the title. The title is very basic. He's talking about Derek Carr, but the context within which Coach McDaniels is talking about Derek Carr implies that they are still in a state of flux, that the Raiders could turn around and Derek Carr may wind up someplace else. Right? Now, the door as to where he's going to go would seem to be closed. The Colts have their quarterback. The Saints have re-signed Jameis Winston. The Dolphins are happy with Tua. The Buccaneers have Tom Brady. the Chicago Bears have Justin Fields. The Denver Broncos have Russell Wilson. The Seattle Seahawks have Drew Lock. Seattle may be a wild card. Okay. Maybe Derek Carr becomes a Seattle Seahawk. I only say that because what he's saying implies that the possibility of a trade is still there. The window is still open, okay? Something to note, folks. Something to note. All right? And something to note. Let's go back and look for other comments from, here's another one. Coach McDaniels on the Brady unretirement says he wasn't surprised. This is a 40-second response. Let's see where he has right here. Let's see if this is properly. Yeah. Okay. Here we go with this one.
Again, whatever he chooses to do, he deserves, the opportunity to pick and choose what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. I just think I see a guy that's playing at an extremely high level, super competitive, and at this age, nobody's really done this before. And so to see him playing at that level and walk away, I think all of us would have been a little sad next year on opening day had that been the case. But knowing him like I do, how competitive he is, if he can still do it at a high level and he can still compete to win championships, it doesn't shock me that he came back. I'm surprised. Again, whatever he chooses to do, he deserves, the opportunity to pick and choose what he wants.
Okay, so let's see. That's what he's saying. He's talking about Tom Brady. Let's see if there's anything else. That's from the Tampa Bay Times there. And don't see anything from him regarding any updates there. And you heard the Victor 4 video there, the Gutierrez video. These are all snippets too that are for Twitter, okay, and not for them. This is a February 1st commentary from Coach McDaniels, and that rounds out the latest bit of content. Let's see if there's anything there. So basically, this is the Twitter show, okay? He says, Josh McDaniels in new team colors there. And Joy you heard this one too. So there's not anything new there, okay? So we've got Josh McDaniels. We have the Broncos coach. How about Frank Reich of the Colts? Let's see if there's any video of him talking. No, that's there. But there's nothing from the annual meeting in terms of his comments there. Let's look at, let's see here. Bill Belichick at the annual meeting. See if there's any video from that. Let's go to videos. And that's that's March 23rd. No. The latest. Nothing here. Is a lot of text. That's from Pro Football Talk. Field Yates. Again, nothing from the coach's breakfast. It's 9:02 now, and the breakfast is over. So there's another angle of the chat between McDaniel and Belichick. And nothing of any video value where we can replay it and digest something that was said, right now, okay? So there's nothing there. under him and Belichick. Let's go back. Let's go to go over to see if the Chargers coach, Chargers coach, like that. And yeah, Brandon Staley scouting report. This is what he said. This is a 30-second snippet from the NFL annual meeting. This is Brandon Staley right now.
Favorite of mine. I really enjoy coaching him.
And what he's talking about is New Eagles linebacker Kazir White. Okay, so that's what he's
favorite of mine. I really enjoy coaching him. He's a really instinctive guy. When I think of Kazir, I think of instincts and toughness. He can really see the game. He knows the college safety, so he can run. An outstanding tackler, and a guy that really is going to show up every day at practice and give you everything he has, and he's really productive for us.
So that's Kazir White. He's coming, who's in the Eagles linebacker that he was once his linebacker. So let's copy and then go down up here and paste. See what we get. Excuse me. See what we get. In terms of the latest, and just wrapped up with Brandon Staley at the owners meeting. Takeaways coming later today. No video, so no one does video. All right, there. On that, there's no snippet here. We heard that one. Asked by Elliot Shores Parks about Kazir White, says I can't hear a single thing in here. The acoustics are bad. I had my friend Jarrett Bell told me, he says that because I said, how do you like the new breakfast format? I asked my friend Jarrett Bell of USA Today, and Jarrett says, it was cool, except the acoustics in the room were awful, but no problem with having it arranged with podium and seats. Have a good day, bro. So the acoustics are a problem. And you know how you get around that is you really need to have a mic. And so you can extend out to talk. If you don't have that and you're using a phone without a mic, you're going to have a hard time. So situations like this, you take a mic with you to combat the problem that the reporters are reporting. Let's see here if there's any more Brandon Staley. It seems like everywhere I turn, even with the NFL annual meeting, people have clips of the Will Smith punch or smack, I should say. So anyway, there's nothing there. Let me refresh this for Brandon Staley, see if there's anything new. Nope, there isn't. See if there's anything new at the top. Nope, that wasn't posted an hour ago. So let's go from Brandon Staley to pick a coach in the AFC, any coach. We already went to Belichick. There isn't much there at all. You can see Jets coach. Robert Saleh talks about bringing back Sparrows. There's 18 seconds with Coach Saleh. Let's see what he's going to say. This has to bring back Hunt Barrows there, and here we go. Right,
he found within our offense and Mike LaFleur, with Mike LaFleur and everybody, with all the different stuff he does, his reliability as a returner, super happy that we brought him back. His character in the locker room, who he is as a man.
Oh, I want to point you out something. You see outside there, the tables? Apparently that's where the breakfasts are. The breakfasts are outside. They're the podiums inside. So they've separated the eating and the talking. Just there you
go. The role he found within our offense and Mike LaFleur, with Mike LaFleur and everybody, with all the different stuff he does, his reliability as a returner, super happy that we brought him back.
So there's that. So we got that one under Staley. Let's try Robert Saleh again, see if there's anything else. there. Then he says, this is 17 seconds.
It's going to happen. You know, we're still building. Obviously, we're going to have our moment in the sun, and you know, it's a big off season for a lot of our young guys to come in and take a step and show the progress that we know that they're capable of. And when they do that, and when it's our time to pounce, we'll pounce. But like I said, though, we've got a lot of draft capital. We got a lot of exciting moments. This off season's not close to done. It's going to happen. You know.
So there you go. There's that. It's the top. And New York Jets Matt says, you want to see Becton come in, have a great third year. You want to see Mincy come back. You want to see Ashton Davis. No, the 2020 draft picks bounce back from what happened a year ago. And he says, we're going into a bare knuckles boxing match, talking about he and Joe Douglas will determine if the Jets take an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman in the draft. Here's that right here.
It's still a really good group, and it allows us the ability not to have to force the issue at any of our draft picks. If someone's there, we'll pounce on it. So. We're gonna go into a bare knuckle boxing match and get at. No, it's gonna be a great discussion for sure. So.
Yeah, so there you go. And so let's see what Mike McDaniel is saying. Representing the Dolphins. As Cameron Wolf says on Tom Brady speculation tab, big Bucks quarterback. That's what you do call it, fake news. So boom, fake news right there. The latest. And says, are you ashamed of all that noise that you call Mike McDaniel's interview? My goodness gracious. I guess that's because of the background noise there, okay? And there's your sound bite for the day from Coach McDaniels. Fake news regarding Tom Brady. And surprisingly, very little else. Again, here's Omar Kelly. This is what Mr. Kelly posted. Let's fix this right here. And this
the exact formula of how you go about doing that is honestly, all right, what's the best way? We have player X. What's the best player that we can get to complement player X? That's player Z. And then you go to some other constants. In terms of the best formula, I mean, I think it's a formula that's adapting to the people around them. I think having an identity that you're trying to find and committing to that vision with an ultimate purpose is important. And so having a vision and going about it and conclusively in one direction, to me that's the most important part. And I think there's a lot of different ways to work this.
Okay, but he's talking about players need quarterbacks and quarterbacks need players in that one. And it's from Omar Kelly. Let's see what else is under his listing here of content. Oh, here. Quick summary of McDaniels had to say at the owners meeting. That's on Good Morning Football. That's a broadcast. I'm not comfortable reporting that. That's their broadcast. It's not on Twitter. So I'm not going to touch that. Okay. I'm not going to touch that. And so, let's see here. If there are any doubts about the Miami Dolphins quarterback situation before, head coach Mike McDaniel provided a lot of clarity Monday about Tua's status as the clear number one, Teddy's role in response last week, and the fake news involving Tom. This is an article. It's not a video. Could save a lot of time by posting the video. This is what McDaniel said on Tua and Bridgewater around the combine. I was describing what I thought Tua really needed with a backup quarterback. Unbeknownst to you guys, I was literally describing Teddy Bridgewater at the time. Both players have been explained their roles and expectations. And so Teddy Bridgewater will be the backup. This is him speaking at the owners' meeting, a photograph. And again, I believe the acoustics caught a lot of people off guard. That video has hardwood. That room has hardwood floors and a high ceiling and windows. Okay, hardwood floors, a high ceiling, and windows. And it says at the NFL owners' meeting, coaches breakfast, Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel had high praise for Terron Armstead, outstanding player and one of the most difficult positions that's obvious by respect his peers give him. And so he responded mostly to the questions regarding Tom Brady's possibility of coming to the Dolphins, which is fake news. Okay, fake news. He says also that it's important to commit to the vision and identity of the offense. He says he's got some daps, a few high fives from folks around the league regarding his moves. And this can give you a picture of how things are different. Take a look at this, folks. Okay. Again, in past years, this would be a breakfast table with plates because we've all eaten or in the process of eating. He would be at the head of that table, a circle, and when people be crowded around that table. In this case, you have more of an auditorium within an auditorium feel with him at this podium and these cameras and people distant. This is a real good look at why the volume for videos is so bad, because unless you have a mic where you can put it right up close, this is what you're going to get. Distant. You can't get closer unless you stand on the side. So this is what you get. And you need a mic to pick it up, right? So if you were expecting, as I was, a breakfast table, and I would have been caught in this situation where I had to pull out a mic, you would have, if you were at a breakfast table, you would be closer, and the Doppler being what it is, you got a better sound. So that's why there's so many videos around with the sound is just not good, but people feel compelled. And I understand this because I've done it to get, whatever comments they can say, and then, clean out the video volume wise later. That's what the situation is. And, so that's McDaniel. He says he was just talking about his affinity for Raheem Mostert right here.
Across our radar after it already begun. It really wasn't necessarily on our plan, so to speak, but it was something that once given the opportunity, it didn't take us long to jump on because, as you know, and most people know, my affinity for Raheem is real. We've had journeys together where we can both, in a related way, we both have been counted out at some point, and pretty much earned everything we got. So it was really exciting, something that I didn't necessarily forecast going into the whole process, but something that was very easy to get excited about after it was presented, was on our plate.
Let's go and see what Doug Peterson is saying while we can. There, right here. So that's just saying it. This is the Jaguars coach we're looking for content on. No video at all, which makes you wonder if anybody from Jaguars media was there. And so, yeah, I don't see anything here. Unless, of course, let me try something else here. Jags coach, like that. And so Patterson is the problem because I misspelled it. It's Patterson, not Doug Patterson, not Peterson. Okay. So let's go up here. Would help to have his name spelled correctly, right? Let's try that again. All right. There we go. It's Chris Franklin. Let's see if we can find a video. The owners meeting. One corner of the room had a few guys with Eagles ties: Frank Reich, Doug Peterson, and Andy Reid. Looking for a video comment. Not finding one. Seeing, basically reports to the same take regarding Harbaugh, Peterson, and Reid. Text, but no video. More text. That's an ad. Here we go. Video. All right, let's.
I'm excited for him. It'll be a good opportunity. I know he'll do a good job there. I'm excited for him. It'll be a good opportunity.
A soundbite on Carson Wentz. Boom. That's it. Okay. Next, let's see here. Doug Peterson says, by no means do I want to play general manager, but at the same time, you want to have a say in the guys you're coaching. Says Trent Baalke leans heavily on the coaching staff and their opinions. I asked Doug Peterson, Zach Rosenblatt did, about what he likes about Evan Ingram with the Jaguars. He says he likes his athleticism, route running. He's a tough guy who's willing to block. Here's another. Well, that's the one we saw earlier. Again, you see that? I said it was hardwood floor. It's not. It's linoleum. But you see how that room has concrete, actually stone walls and arched ceiling, and it produces this kind of sound. Obvious by that video, that's what you're going to get in your video, even before someone's speech. And the further away you are from that person's mouth, the more likely you are to hear that and not the person's voice. Keep that in mind, okay? Let's see if there's anything else here. Questions about Peterson, who having coached Carson Wentz in Philly. And not much here. Considering the wealth of smartphones, there isn't much here. And overall, the content production is really disappointing. It really is. Now, if I were there, look at what I'm doing here, right? Okay, so that's the Jags coach. How about, let's see, we've got matter of, let me see here. I'm just checking something here, folks. Just checking something. Make sure that I'm on point here. Let's see what Andy Reid has to say for the Chiefs. And I think so. Race against time. So I have to scroll down more to find any possible videos. I said any Reid. How about putting the D in there, right? That would help. Broncos coach interview with 9, which is crashing interruption. That's old. Andy Reid says there was no riff with Tyreek Hill. I was trying to find video. We've seen that. It's 1 hour. There's Andy Reid at the podium. There's another angle of Andy Reid. Wouldn't be an NFL owners meeting with Andy Reid's Hawaiian shirt, Tommy Bahama specifically. Here we go. This is JP Finley. He asked Andy Reid if he spoke to Ron Rivera about the Commanders' quarterback search. Reid said he spent. Well, let's hear from Andy Reid himself. How about that? Let me scroll down here and go here.
I don't remember talking about the quarterback situation, but we do talk all the time.
And just seeing what they did and watching the league, how do you think Carson Wentz is kind of going to perform in Washington?
I think he'll do a good job. Yeah. Then I think he'll run for president after that. He's a sharp guy. I don't remember talking.
He said he thinks that, we'll run for president after his stint with the NFL. Says he's a sharp guy. And see if there's any other sound bites. There's a Reid talking with Ira Kaufman. That's the guy in the blue shirt. There. So there we go. That's about it, folks, for that. Okay. We've got the AFC West. We've got Josh McDaniels, Brandon Staley, Nathaniel Hackett, and Andy Reid in those comments. So who did we miss? We didn't miss anybody. And you got a little bit of sprinkling from other coaches as well. The NFC is tomorrow. So there's your quick tour of who said what at the NFL annual meeting representing the AFC. We'll sprinkling in of comments from coaches not in the AFC West. You saw what Josh McDaniel of the Raiders said regarding Derek Carr, which really points to the possibility of a trade situation. He did not close the door. He said that, Derek's got to do what's best for Derek. The team has to do what's best for the team. And why say that? I didn't hear the question, but what was on Paul Gutierrez's video was tantalizing. He didn't give the idea, Coach McDaniels, that this thing is set. He says that the relationship is building, that they haven't got on the field yet, right? Translation, I want to see how he does in my offense. And I would think he's still installing his offense, okay? So for me, until they come down with a deal that solidifies Derek Carr's position, his role with the Raiders is still really in flux. And that's troubling. Now, the good news for Derek is that right now, from the perspective of him wanting to stay a Raider, is Marcus Mariota is a Falcon. That door is closed. The Saints doors was never open, really, for Derek Carr at all, so forget that. They signed Jameis Winston. And overall, where's he going to turn except maybe the Seahawks? But the bottom line is the words Derek Carr is our quarterback and we're moving forward through the future were not uttered. It was more, he's going to do best for himself, and we've got to do best for what is good for the team. Wow. All right. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark localnewsnow.com, and that is this broadcast.